Welcome everyone to the Little Sanctum. My name is Chris, and today the message is going to be around the full moon in Leo. Okay, and so it looks like I'm going to be starting off with, the elements, and so we're going to start off with the fire element, just cause, it is the full moon in Leo, and so with that, it's a great place to start. Um, I feel like we're so used to addressing the fire and the heat in a very negative tone. Um, but yes, there are shadow parts to each element, and at the same time, there's also quite a bit of light in it as well. And so what I feel like is really coming up for this time of the cycle is how to fully embrace and be um, unwavering in your ability to be direct. And when I say direct, I am talking about this, what is it? This sense that you know what you want, and when you're uncertain of it, it's not something you're gonna just say. You're very discerning of how and where to put out and direct this energy, this sight, this cleansing, heating sight. Um, even the sight itself is considered as a fire element to gaze, to look into, to heat, to activate an individual is through the sight. It's through our awareness, right? Our sight, our consciousness that we have the ability to shift what is present. And so I feel like mainly in this time of in this cycle itself, yes, there is a component of the solar plexus being activated, right? Your internal fire, the fire in your body, the place of that element is in the back of the body where your solar plexus is. So 2 inches below your belly button, like 2 fingers 2 inches below your belly button, and it's in the back of the body. That's mainly where the source of your fire is. It's also what we call our gut fire. And it's through this ability to digest, to cleanse out what no longer serves, and also from cleansing what doesn't serve, it also invites in this ability to integrate, what does work. And so with this integration of what is working, you get into the space of getting a clear idea of what it is that you want. And so it wakes up this pulsation, this desire to distribute what is already working, the lesson that you've learned, the integration of it, and to become more clear of the pulsation that's happening. So to become more clear of what is being communicated and expressed through the heart, through that center. And so in this full moon in Leo, you're activating your heart. It is truly calling out bullshit on those places that you have not shown up authentically, and asking you to show up with more integrity in the places that you do want to be in. And with coming into this place of the heart, it also requires you to take some control, in a sense that you are also responsible in what you let in and what you don't let in. And so becoming aware of how your body is communicating with you, how your soul is communicating with you, and what type of experience does it want to have. And so when something is coming in towards you and it is wanted, it is desired, it is also in a co-collaborative, co-creative mode with the force coming in, it allows it to come in with far more grace, and it's not going to harm what's coming in. It will allow for that to fill in the space that it is calling in to be filled in. The visual that I'm getting from that is the whole concept of a forest. Our hearts are like the heart of a forest. On the outskirts of the forest, you will find the more dangerous type of animals, but also even to protect those animals, right? Even to protect those dangerous animals, it's also, there's roses of thorns, and there's poison ivy, there's other weeds that are prickly in nature. And so when approaching these, it's a manner of asking for the allowance to be let in. It is is it okay, right? Communication, is it okay that I enter? Because this is what I want to do, this is where I want to be, this is what I want to create, this is what I want to express. Do you accept? Do you agree? And at the same time, this is a place and a time where you get to communicate and you actually get to draw out every single detail that you want to make happen for this time. So drawing a boundary isn't just one person asking one thing and then that's it. It's either a yes or a no. It's not just about being a yes or a no. There's places that are the hard yeses and the hard nos. They do serve a purpose, yes. And there are places where it's like, it's a little bit of a maybe. And so when it comes to a maybe, what aspects are you okay with and which other ones are you not okay with? At the same time, what are the options that you would like to have? What are the tools that you would like to have when playing in this field? Right? There's no forceful brute that you are going into this space. There is none of that forcefulness. It is a fully heartfelt acknowledgement and the ability to give a voice for this, right? Our sense of anger comes from a place where and when it is being violated and dishonored. And so a violation could be just an acknowledgement of that, you know what, actually the details of it isn't okay with me. And so it's an opportunity for you to have a conversation around what works for you, what doesn't, and before even going into the details of playing, right, of co-creating, before even stepping into that, it's like you're drawing out the contract. That's the one thing about Leo is you draw out the contract. You cross you dot all your I's and you cross your T's. Everything is all detailed and nothing is left out the question. It's all there. It's all straightforward. And so you both understand, so these two parties that are there to co-create, you understand the goal that you're there for, what your intentions are, how you wish to show up. And so when you have a question, you're wondering, okay, what would happen if such a situation were to take place? What would be the protocol, you know? And you would ask, instead of just wondering and getting anxious, noticing that there is this anxiousness. That anxiousness is a sense of closed off, a barrier being brushed against. And you're like, no, this isn't okay, right? So the whole screaming component of the whole anger is when you've totally been violated and your boundary has totally been pushed and it's not being listened to. But before that, you get little signs of little discomforts, of a little bit of anxiousness, a little hesitation, so many questions are running through your head. Practicing to ask questions. And knowing what you are okay to hold space for, to, it's not tolerance. You're not tolerating anything. It's like, okay, I am willing to go through a certain levels of discomfort and still be able to process through it and still be objective, without feeling like I am being displaced. And knowing that if you ever, during that any point, that you are being displaced, that you have the capacity and the surrounding and the space to say, okay, I need a little break. Actually, can we put a pause on this? Can we come back to it again? And so I feel like that's something that's coming up for this full moon in Leo, is how to communicate with more efficiency, especially for you fire signs. It's pushing your boundaries to teaching you how to communicate with much more effectiveness and to actually be protective of your body, of your limits. And to navigate through it in the best way possible that works for you. The next little component that I'm going to be driving into is the way the water signs are showing up in this full moon in Leo. For you guys, it's truly an emotional state. Your emotions can get quite loud and almost violent in nature, whether it be a loud emotion, so a deep desire, like you have to satiate this hunger, this desire within you. You have to. And if you don't, then it's like all hell break loose and you're just so uncomfortable, you're anxious, it's as if you're starving. Becoming aware of, sorry, I'm laughing, that little chuckle is because it's truly does apply to me. I'm very much so a water sign, so, um, yeah, so back to it. It's not about, it's about satiating your hunger in a way that feels like you are fueled, right? And allows you to move with the water and the flow and the emotions. To not let your emotions engulf you and be afraid of it. Actually ride it. Ride the waves. Ride the waves of the anger and ride the waves of the passion and love. And I feel like for you guys right now, especially, it's going to be more around passion and love. Um, I feel like a lot of you water signs have learned to navigate through your anger and your emotions and to own it, not be so afraid of it. And so right now it's more like understanding how to express these forms of anger, but not in a, so expressing these forms of anger through passion and not to be put off and afraid of the fact that you are expressing yourself and that you feel this way and that you see things differently, that you experience this world in a very emotional state of being. There's nothing wrong with it, right? It's owning the fact that this is how you experience this world. This is how you experience this body that you're in, and giving yourself the opportunity to own your strength. By owning your strength and acknowledging the strength you have, right? It's about riding the waves of emotion, of sadness, grief, pleasure, um, love, riding these waves and leaning into it, allowing for the emotions to not displace you, but to uplift you and to bring you clarity into what it is that you want, what it is that you desire, where you wish to be, where you wish to go, and how you wish to show up, taking ownership in the way you wish to show up, cutting off ties with those that you've noticed that you are not being authentic with. It's not about them being good, like nice or mean. It's not about you being nice or mean. It's just you're realizing that the way you do want to show up is just not an integrity. And owning up to it, acknowledging the fact that you're not doing what you want to do. And so practicing to do more of what you do want to do, even if it's scary, even if you have no blueprint on how to even do it. You have no idea how to do it because you've never done it before. Do it. Start somewhere. Start with what you know, right? And it's okay that this is what you know. Still have the courage to show up and to be there, to be present, and to have conversations. Show up, allow yourself to speak, to move, and see where you've been afraid. see where you've been resistant and you've been just angry and protective. Um, it's your shadow side, and it's that shadow side that you're bringing up to more of a light, and you're owning it, that it is your shadow. And you're like, okay, I actually do want to do something different with it. Um, and I need some help. And at the same time, these are the things that I want to do. And so being clear, or becoming clear of where you're going, what your motivation is, and who you're doing it for. Because you're a water sign, you're very emotional, and so you're very attached with people around you, experiences. You you truly care about the experience you have and the way you feel and the way others feel around you, because it does affect the way you vibe. But what's being asked for you in this time is not to displace yourself because someone else is having whatever emotional story, but it's for you to still be acknowledging that you are steady in your emotions, that you are not what others experience, and that you know your own strength, your own superpower, and you're showing up regardless of all the stories that you have and what others have of you. That you are showing up regardless of the story. That this strength and this power, this fire is there. You have learned to use your emotions, this water, this alchemical water. You've learned to use it to cool down the fire. You've learned to put out all the fires that have been present in your life. And for some, it's just the beginning. For others, you've been doing it for a while, and at the same time, it still is the beginning. And so, using this opportunity to move further in, it's gonna be a wild journey for this full moon. A lot of love is gonna come to light for those that have been struggling with your love life, or have been getting clear on what love looks like for you. You're stepping further into it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of aspects of your boundaries around love, your restrictions around it, it's going to shift, and you're going to begin to see that it's okay for you to have all the details that you wanted to around love, all that experience. You get to finally experience it, and you're gonna see how much work has been put in for you to have the experience that you currently are. It's gonna be a lot of fun for you. Go for it. It's gonna be a blast. Um, see what life has for you. Genuinely, sorry. See what life has for you. It's one step closer to your love story. Um, Anything else for the water signs? No. Okay, so this little part is wanting to come in for Scorpio specifically. Um, you're going to be working on a lot of your money woundings. It's, okay, I guess it does fall into the category of money woundings, but it's not necessarily money. Like, it's not woundings. It's just your stories around it are going to shift. You've been doing quite a bit of work, and it's not just only for Scorpios. It does apply to the other water signs as well, Pisces and Cancer as well. But more specifically for Scorpio, it's gonna really be more of your focus is really truly love and money itself, your wealth, your tangible wealth and abundance. This is gonna accelerate you to deepen the way you experience and direct your finances, direct the way you experience your wealth. It's going to be done in a way that it speaks to you and enlivens you, and it gives you much prosperity. It's going to be received in a way that it lifts you up to your highest and fullest self, and it's going to show you a possibility that you knew about, but for the first time in your life, you're gonna see it being a genuine possibility that, oh, I can actually have it. Like, it may even be quite visual for you. In this experience, you might even feel this huge emotional charge towards your finances. So, yeah, it's going to be a really beautiful journey for you, Scorpio, especially in this full moon in Leo. Okay, so now we're ready for the earth signs. And so for you earth signs, there is a lot happening. It's been a bit of a chaotic past month, and so it's not going to necessarily get any easier. At the same time, you are an earth sign. You have the capacity to ground all of this energy and force into the earth. Do it. It's your superpower, you know? Take it and ground it into the earth and see what she has to give to you. Because you do love giving to people. You love feeding people, serving them. Yeah, your family love is highly important for you. So it's gonna really wake up more and more of what you want, how you wish to move through life, type of experiences that you want to have. Be more discerning of what is working for you, what isn't, and the places that aren't working for you. You communicate them, you have those conversations. It will make people around you uncomfortable. For some of you earth signs, it might make you a little bit uncomfortable to have these confrontational conversations, but do them. And at the same time, you don't have to be so harsh about it. You can be a little bit gentle, and it doesn't have to be so black and white, right? Um, but see what works. Have the conversation. Ask to see what the other person wants, and ask them to see if how they would feel about joining you along this journey and this vision you have, and if that aligns for you. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't, right? You can't force anyone to come along with you, but you can have the courage to have the conversations with them. So have the conversations with them, right? Oh, it's really for you, all your earth signs. It's communication is a big one, and sorry. So yeah, communication is a big one, but at the same time, it's um. Wow, I lost my train of thought. Dang it. Okay, I'm gonna try my best to remember and go with whatever is coming through. Um, so communicating what works for you in the highest, and also seeing that you get to play in places where it makes you a little bit uncomfortable. So it may not be 100% yes to these places. Um, you might be doing all the steps that you need to do, right? Having all the hard conversations, and at the same time noticing that the person that you're speaking with and addressing these whatever the situation is with may not be 100% in alignment, and at the same time, for the first time, you're trying to still play in it and see what does actually work for you and how you wish to um, move through it. I think for the first time, you're willing to move your boundary, to expand it a little bit, and you're willing to have your boundaries be pushed. Of course, you don't want, no one's gonna be breaking you down. That's a no-no. But even if someone isn't 100% yes, and they seem a little bit hesitant and you do sense it, acknowledge that you sense it, but you're still willing to give it a shot because there's something there for you to learn and to get clear on. So move through it, see what's going to come up. It's going to be a really fun place to move through. Um, yeah, it's going to be a really, really, really fun place to move through. I'm excited to see how your boundaries are going to be pushed, and I feel like the way you're asking for your boundaries to be pushed is in a way for you to see your fullest self and for you for the first time to show someone who you are and owning that you are going to show up for people even if they don't show up, that you're still there, um and calling them out on when they're not being present, calling them out on their bullshit and lack of integrity. um you're genuinely showing up, you're learning how to voice yourself. You're also willing to work with people that are different from you and also communicate with them how you want to be treated. So you are learning to set boundaries with people. Wow. Wow. Okay. There's one more little thing that wants to come out, just waiting for the words to come through. Um, or at least to get a little clearer visual so I can work with that at least. Let's see. It's almost as though you're being cleansed. This full moon is cleansing you because for once you're also noticing, you're acknowledging where you are, where you want to be, where you want to go, and are willing to work with differences, all the differences. Like even the discomfort brings you a form of pleasure. And I feel like that's what you're learning to, that's what you're leaning into actually, is the places that are uncomfortable and yet they bring you pleasure. You're learning to see the kind of erotic, kinky nature that you may have in the places that may have put you off completely. You're learning to heal them. So it's like it's your own way of using the fire that is available. So it's Leo plus it's a full moon. So the parts of you that are uncomfortable are really coming up to the surface. They're being lit up. And it's the opportunity for you to move through it, navigate through it, to find pleasure in it, to rewrite the stories. But it's not just rewriting the story, it's about acknowledging and bringing home those shadows, those discomforts, and being like, oh yeah, this is my discomfort. And no longer having a shame around it or a story around it. It's owning the story. That is, that's gorgeous. Beautiful. I'm really excited for your earth signs. To be moving through this. It's gonna be a bunch of fun. Wow. Sorry for my burping. It's just, wow, it's beautiful. I'm really excited for you. So for the air sign, so it's Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. For you guys, it's the kind of airy, whimsical nature that you have. Uh, even through that, you're you're learning to not have the air, so your natural essence be exacerbating the fire that's coming through. So keeping your nervous system cool and sweet um, is going to support you quite a bit in this time. For some reason, it's not that clear why, but it's going to be a little bit chaotic mentally for you. In the way your thoughts, your creativity, your emotions, even, it's going to be a little bit pushed out of proportion in this full moon. At the same time, if you are someone that does have more control over it, it's wonderful and it's meant for you to navigate through. It's not for someone else to um, experience. At the same time, you're more than welcome to share it with them. I feel like you're going to be pushing up against emotions and experiences that make others uncomfortable. And I don't know if it may feel like a little bit um, uneasy for you, and that you may be uh, words are not coming out, but all that I can focus on is the experience of being only in the heart and the head, and there is no grounding. So maybe in this time, especially in this full moon in Leo, it's anchoring down these experiences, these emotions, these stories, and pulling it into your roots and to the ground, through the ground. I'm practicing that on a daily of some sort. Um, if you want a physical practice or you can't do a meditation, then there's where you can do squats, lots of squats, more movement around the hips, allowing for that portion of your body to move, your pelvis to move, bringing attention to your pelvic floor in a meditation would be great to support you. Because your goal would be not to spiritually bypass whatever ideas, thoughts are coming through, but to anchor it in, to be a bit more practical about it. That's something that's alive for Leos, is that they are very practical beings. And so harnessing that, and which is going to give you the ability to communicate with much more clarity and discernment and direction, right? A grounded energy allows you to direct where you are going and where you are putting out this energy. And also be cautious of you giving all of you to everyone. So don't just give, just cut. Hold some stuff just for you. Whatever that may be, just hold some stories, some experiences that are just solely for you. See what comes up from there. Take a break when you need to. When you feel like you are overwhelmed, take a break. Take a few deep breaths. And if you don't have the capacity to inhale one long deep breath, then double inhale. And so normally what happens, the first inhale goes into your stomach, the second one fills up even further, and it fills up into your lungs and your chest. Which, what happens with that is that it pushes up against your spine, your lungs. When it inflates, it pushes up against the spine, which then also releases endorphins for you to relax and be at ease. So, taking a deep breath when needed to, taking that rest, and then also letting out that breath with a slow exhale. If you're anxious, of course, through the mouth. If not, then slowly through the nose would be a bit more ideal, but do what feels tangible and doable for you. And if you feel like your thoughts are just running, maybe even giving yourself some time throughout the day, at some point in the day. It would be nice if it's at the end of the day, really. So just let your thoughts run. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Put on whatever music that you want to and just let your thoughts run. Nothing. You're not doing anything to it. You're closing your eyes and you're acknowledging that you're closing your eyes and that you're in this body and allowing for the thoughts to just go. You're not trying to have a conversation with any other thoughts. You're just watching them happen. noticing when you begin to have a dialogue with it, that you're turning off the dialogue, that you become aware that you are and you're turning it off, and then allowing for that thought to continue to pass through. It's just an acknowledgement that these thoughts exist, which then allows for you to be okay with the fact that you are a bit more spacey, and which then allows you to ground yourself because you are becoming aware of the fact that you have a body, and in this body is what all of this is coming through. What I feel like, so for the air signs, that's all. So what I feel like for in general in this new moon, in this full moon in in Leo, oh my gosh. In this full moon in Leo, it's, you're learning more about your strengths. You're learning to strengthen yourself in the places that you have not been strong, that you have maybe not been able to set boundaries. You're learning to set better boundaries. You're learning to ground yourself. Um, you are learning to tame yourself without any brute force. It's through listening and attentiveness, with a loving compassion, that you are learning to strengthen the parts of you that feel weak and frail. It's an opportunity for you to truly meet a strength of you that you may have not noticed that exists. So it's quite beautiful. And this is what you're stepping into. All right. So I am gonna be leaving the message here. There was a lot that came through, and I will be speaking to you guys soon. And have a wonderful full moon.